morning, ladies and gentlemen of the USA. My name is Tyler Storm, and I would like to welcome you to the third episode of StormWatch. Today, oh baby, do we have a lot of fun stuff to go through, just in local news even. You know, it's... The more we get into 2026, the more I get excited about not just what we have going on as a civilization, but just my faith in, like, my community has grown insurmountably. I mean, the youth, they're setting a precedent for what it means to be a good person nowadays. I have a good example of this, too. A teenager who fatally stabbed his grandmother 42 times wanted her to fucking die. Stabbed his grandmother 42 times in a bid to steal her credit cards and run off with a companion, was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Jalen K. Christian, that's not very Christian of you, Christian, now 19, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the 2022 death of Muriel Emerson, 57. How do you kill a woman named Muriel? That's such an innocent name. That's like, how could you kill an Aunt Gladys? Do you know what I mean? Certain things, they're gentle souls, gentle people, Muriels and Gladyses. Look at the film Weapons. That's what that showed us. With the stipulation that the sentence be decided by a judge during the During the Monday, January 12 hearing before Circuit Court Judge Charlie Crawford in Vieira, Assistant State Attorney Mike Doyle asked that Christian, who was 16 at the time, receive life for the deadly stabbing. She was his biggest supporter and champion, Doyle said in a statement. Emerson, who had worked as a probation officer, took in the troubled teenager when he couldn't get along with other family, and within 5 months, she was dead. What does this tell you about, like, doing things for the youth? Sometimes you get stabbed to death 42 times. Sometimes you don't, but in this case, it just didn't work out for her. This was like, she ran into fucking Carl from Llamas with Hats. I don't understand. Her grandson is Carl. He may have eaten someone's hands. Don't put him in with the rest of the people. The case shocked and baffled friends and family of Emerson. Christian was arrested after Brevard County Sheriff's Office deputies and Rockledge Police received a text to 911 that said he had killed his grandmother. The teen had run away from home. The teen had run away from home he shared with her the day before, police said. Emerson found the boy and brought him back home, reports show. The next day on September 7th, 2002, Emerson picked up the boy from school and brought him home, police said. What the fuck? Where is this? The teen, who prosecutors said plotted to steal Emerson's credit card and run off with an unidentified male lover he met online, looked up how to attack someone from behind. So he stabbed someone from behind and ran off with another dude. Did he think this was The Outsiders? Did he think that his lover was Ponyboy? Was he Johnny? No, he's Christian. Who the fuck looks up how to attack someone from behind? This is just like, you weren't meant to succeed, young man. I'm sorry. This is God's sign to you that you were not meant to make it in the throes of the world. You can't even succeed in offing an elderly woman without having to look it up. That's sad. I thought you kids knew all about mass murders and shootings and stabbings. I mean, we hear about a new school shooting every week, but you have to look up how to attack someone from behind. I'm losing faith in the generation, article by article. Prosecutors said the teen then crept up to Emerson and stabbed her repeatedly, piercing her heart and left lung. Yes. He took a picture of the body and covered her before leaving the home. Jesus fucking Christ. This kid might be a little bit of a psychopath. The sheriff's office then received a 911 hang-up call from a gas station on Clear Lake Road in Cocoa. Deputies found the teen, who then confessed to stabbing his grandmother too many times to count. You know, we've all been mad at our grandparents and our parents. We've wanted to kill them, but... Ooh, boy. What do you think they argued about? What do you think they argued about here in Brevard County? They might have been arguing over drugs. They might have been arguing over, I don't know, simpler things like food. I don't know. I know I've definitely put my fair share of desserts in the fridge, and then when I walk in and see someone's eating it, think to myself, I should grab a kitchen knife and stab them 42 times because I am furious. I wanted that tiramisu. I wanted that frosted cookie that I like better when it's cold instead of at room temperature, because the frosting just kind of hits a little bit differently when you've let it sit in the fridge for a while. And I've thought to myself, I should stab them. But I also didn't have to look this up. I'm a bit more professional in the way I would go about this. Not that I've done this, or would do this, or condone this for anyone, or think that this was a good idea. This was sad. But, whatever. The medical examiner later reported that Emerson had been stabbed 42 times. Yes. We've been over this. Prosecutors said police had not connected anyone else to the homicide despite Christian's confession. Christian was also sentenced to a lifetime of probation after he serves his 35 years in state prison. Good. Good. I would hope so. Stab your grandmother 42 times. Have to look up how to stab your grandmother 42 times. I'm getting tired of this generation. You know what? Maybe the next article will help reinvigorate my faith a little bit. Music director, 19, accused of molesting 16-year-old at Brevard High School. God fucking damn it, man. I'm trying. You guys are not. You're not working with me. Brandon Foreman faces charges of lewd and lascivious molestation. Amateur. Palm Bay, Florida, a music director who worked at Bayside High School has been arrested after he was accused of molesting an underage student, according to the Palm Bay Police Department. In an affidavit, police said they met with a 16-year-old student at the high school on Friday. According to the student, she initially met the music director, identified as Brandon Foreman, 19, about a year and a half ago when he was still an intern. So maybe when he was under 18. Hey, maybe she molested him when he was underage, and this kept going, and she blackmailed him and said, we're going to keep doing this because now it's molestation. And about a year and a half ago when he was still an intern. A year later, Foreman replaced the music director and assumed the role of lead instructor. He definitely was leading something. Leading on some underage bitches, the affidavit reads. Afterwards, he was entrusted with giving the students one-on-one private music lessons. I bet you his favorite chord was A minor. On school property. Though Foreman soon began messaging one another outside of the chat platform that had been established for the music group, investigators said. Okay, wait a minute. So they started messaging outside of the permissible chat rooms? This is sounding more and more like her fault the more I read into this. In those private messages, Foreman and the student established what they considered redacted. What the fuck? Why did you what did they consider? What they considered.
Probably love.
Probably love. The affidavit continues. The text messages turned into late-night phone calls and exchanging of pictures. Investigators added that the girl claimed that they had kissed in the school's band room at least 10 times after her private lessons. She also reportedly stated that Foreman had fondled over her bra. Well, she sounds like a snitch if you ask me. I'm not saying that this was right or good behavior, or that any of this is okay. But let's be honest here. The more I read into this, the more I blame her. Police said that Foreman later admitted to kissing and fondling the student over the course of the past month. He was arrested at Southwest Middle School, reports show. Wait, he was at the high school and the middle school? Arrest this man 3 more times. Jesus Christ. He now faces 10 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation and 1 count of offenses against a student by an authority figure. Jesus fucking Christ. Wait a minute. 10 counts. 1 count for each time they met in that band room. Jesus Christ. On Saturday morning, Foreman was granted pretrial release on the condition that he have no contact with the victim, not return to the school, and not contact any unaccompanied minors. But how is he supposed to play his instruments without a minor? Foreman's next court date is slated for February 3rd at 8 a.m. You know what? We wish you well. Good luck, Brandon Foreman. Stay golden. And you know what? I forgot to say this to you, young man out of Rockledge. Fucking Jalen Christian. Stay golden. Stay golden. But enough of these affirmations about this young generation. I think we should look more just at what this community truly is. What Titusville is, and what the people are like, and what it means to me. Titusville home on 3rd Avenue. Police seek public's help to identify perp. Officers provide life-saving aid until Brevard County... Okay, that's not it. That wasn't what I meant to read. Woman shot multiple times in Titusville home on 3rd Avenue. Police seek public's help to identify perp. There we go. Isn't this town lovely? I think it's a beautiful place. And the more I live here, and the more I see cars on fire in the Marshall's parking lot, and the more I hear about shootings here, and the more I keep getting fucking annoyed in the middle of the night by Elon's launches, the more I love this place. Pillars of the community, salt of the earth. I always say, you can't find anyone better than a Brevard baddie. No, these people are fucking nuts. You could call them bretards. Retarded Brevardians. Brevardiates? Brevardigans. Brevard County, Titusville, Florida. Titusville police are investigating a residential shooting that left an adult woman injured Tuesday evening in a neighborhood near the 1100 block of 3rd Avenue. According to Titusville Police Commander Tyler Wright, there are way too many fucking Tylers in this town. I am getting sick of this shit. There was another Tyler mentioned on the last podcast, and the dumb fuck wanted to keep his name private, but it was Tyler. Now there's a Commander Tyler Wright. I'm Tyler. I think we should all joust for the name. Or we should only go by our last names. Or submit that only one goes by Tyler and all others go by last name. You inferior folk need to quit using my name on a daily basis. It's driving me fucking nuts. Officers were dispatched to the area at approximately 6:34 p.m. on January 13th after receiving reports of a shooting. When officers arrived, they found an adult female suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Commander Wright said officers immediately began providing life-saving aid until Brevard County Fire Rescue paramedics arrived. Good on them. Good on him. The victim was then transported to a local hospital for further treatment, and authorities said Wednesday that her injuries are not believed to be life-threatening and she is expected to survive. Stay golden. Stay golden. But also to the shooter, you got no sauce. You got no aim. You are not that Turkish sharpshooter that came in second at the Olympics. You are nothing. You couldn't even cap somebody in Titusville. What is this generation, really? One kid has to look up how to stab their grandmother, and these people can't even shoot someone properly. I mean, I'm not saying I want this woman to die. I hope she lives. Stay golden. But, god damn, son. God damn, son. TPD detectives from the department's criminal investigations section along with crime scene technicians from the forensic investigations section were called to the scene to conduct a detailed investigation. And they found out it was because she was fucking somebody's baby daddy. Or she was trying to steal someone's drugs. You remember how I brought up arguing over drugs and food? That happens here. That happens. Officers interviewed witnesses, canvassed the surrounding neighborhood, and collected physical evidence as part of the ongoing case. This remains an active and ongoing investigation, and we are asking anyone who may have seen or heard anything related to the incident to come forward, said Major Jeremy Gonzalez Wall, who oversees the investigations division. I think it's fucking hilarious. The person got shot and can't identify who the fuck shot them. Imagine being so hated that they don't even want you to see their face when you die. Didn't say this was a drive-by. This was a walk-by shooting, apparently. And you can't identify the fucking shooter? Even information that may seem minor could be critical in helping our detectives piece together what happened. The Titusville Police Department is committed to conducting a thorough investigation and pursuing justice for the victim. Stay golden, victim. Police have not yet released any information about the potential suspects or what may have led to the shooting. We'll keep up with you. We expect big things. I don't know. Maybe it was Venezuelan gang members here in Titusville. Maybe they got tired of her and her not being Venezuelan. Maybe it was Haitians. Maybe they wanted her dog. Whatever. That's just another day in Titusville. Let's be honest here. And speaking of normal days in Titusville, transient woman arrested after surveillance cameras Arrested after surveillance cameras, community tips help solve Titusville graffiti case. Helen Rose Daisy Moreno carried out a graffiti vandalism spree across downtown Titusville. And she got caught. Weak sauce. Everyone here keeps getting caught, except the shooter in the last article. We have one good villain. We don't even have good villains here in Brevard. We don't even have good criminals. We have drug-addled degenerates. This is not... They think they're in Goodfellas. They're more in, like, average dudes. Or, like, subpar fuckwads. I don't know. Brevard County, Titusville, Florida. A transient woman. That means homeless for you mentally disabled and you verbally challenged. A transient woman with ties to Miami and California. She has ties to a city in Florida and an entire state. Is she a politician? I thought she was a transient. Is facing a series of felony and misdemeanor charges after investigators say she carried out a graffiti vandalism spree across downtown Titusville that damaged more than a dozen properties. Good on her. Good on her. We've been needing some new art in this town. I'm tired of looking at all these gas stations and their lack thereof art. It's just a bunch of fucked up roads and crackheads and... You know what? If this woman has a GoFundMe, you can consider me willing to donate $200 to it. I'll make that pledge right now because we need art. We need people like her and people like the shooter and from the other day. People who are willing to step up and prove a point about this generation and this community. That art is alive and well. That you can get away with a shooting and a crime without having to look it up on Google. Sorry, I'm passionate about this. From the heart. From one greaser to another. According to the Titusville Police Department, officers were dispatched at about 9:40 a.m. Saturday, January 10th to the 400 block of Main Street after reports of graffiti-related vandalism that had occurred overnight between January 9th and January 10th. As officers canvassed the area, additional business owners and employees arriving for work began reporting similar damage on their buildings. Police said multiple downtown businesses were tagged with the graffiti reading, "Rose Love Never Give Up," "Rose Love 88, Rose," and other variations of the same markings. She was leaving her mark on the town. You know, some people go their entire lifetime with no one knowing their name. This woman took that shit and said, fuck you, and stick that shit up your ass 3 times over. Because Rose Love never gives up. Stay golden, Rose. Investigators obtained a major break from a business in the 300 block of South Washington Avenue that had surveillance cameras. The footage captured a suspect described as a middle-aged white female wearing a dark jacket over a red hooded jacket, camouflage pants, and black shoes. That outfit alone says you're up to no fucking good. Jesus Christ. Dark jacket over a red hooded jacket with the camouflage pants and black shoes alone are fucking... You know when they talk about black Air Force energy? This is like the homeless person version of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of shooting up the block, they're spray painting it. With assistance from the community and a review of the surveillance video, officers identified the suspect as Helen Rose Daisy Moreno, 28. They identified this woman as middle-aged, then she turns out to be 28. God damn, son. Girl, you need to lay off the fucking heroin or something. Holy shit. 28. You're a year older than me, bitch. They thought you were a middle-aged woman. Bitch, you... I shouldn't be laughing at this hard, but... Oh, boy, I didn't... Whew. Described by police as a transient with connections to Miami and California. What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Is she the reason there's so much fentanyl in California? Is she the reason that there's so many Haitians in Miami? Do we blame Helen Rose? Officers also found Moreno in possession... wait, hold up. Later that afternoon, at about 3 p.m. on January 10th, officers located Moreno near the Titus Landing shopping plaza, police said. You know what? Maybe she was going to the new Native Grill. She can let me know how it was. Or maybe she was going to the theaters. There's like 3 movies you could see. You could watch Timothée Chalamet play with his ping pong paddle and whack a bunch of balls around with a few guys. You could watch Sydney Sweeney's fat tats pop out and The Housemaid, which is a privilege. A privilege, I say. You could watch David. I think people should be turning back to God. You should go watch David. I hope they got the David and Goliath story proper in that. I hope it's just this like giant apish person with like Netanyahu's face plastered over it. And David has like an Iranian flag that they're waving around. And then he knocks fucking David's head or Goliath's head off. And then Israel bombs them more. Later that after... Shopping plaza. At the time, she was carrying a black jacket, a red hooded jacket, and a backpack that matched the clothing and items in the surveillance footage. You know, if you're going to commit a crime and you're going to put your name all over, you should have a signature outfit, especially if you're a villain. And I like this one. She's on it. Officers also found Moreno in possession of distinct specialty chisel with a wide-tip Sharpie, which investigators said appeared to match the tool used to create graffiti found throughout the town. Still couldn't. I mean, maybe it wasn't her. Maybe she's being framed. Maybe somebody walked around with a her mask on and did all that shit. Based on the evidence, police established probable cause and took Moreno into custody. She was transported to Brevard Detention Center, where she remains on an $18,500 bond. You know what? Free my bitch, Moreno. Moreno is charged with multiple counts of criminal mischief on a religious building, multiple counts of felony criminal mischief, and multiple counts of misdemeanor criminal mischief. Now, you see, consequences to your actions. Consequences to your actions. You should have been turning to God. Instead of spray painting on God's building, what you should have been doing was going to Nigeria and becoming a missionary. Your life has failed. They identified you as a middle-aged woman. You couldn't even come up with anything more creative than Rose Love Never Gives Up. What you should have put is Rose Love Never Gets Caught, and then it would have been funny, because there was no way they were not getting you. No way. Police believe Moreno is responsible for more than 12 documented incidents of graffiti vandalism, and authorities say additional charges are expected as the investigation continues. This case is a great example of how teamwork between the Titusville Police Department and our community lead to real results, said Detective Sergeant Lauren Watson. A woman! Good on you. Woman taking down woman. What happened to being a girl's girl? What happened to being a girly pop girl that liked art and shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought girls stuck together. Bitch. Free Moreno. We are grateful to the businesses that have invested in surveillance cameras and willingly shared footage, which played a critical role in identifying the suspect. Community involvement and cooperation are essential in helping us quickly address criminal activities and keep Titusville a safe city. Titusville, a safe city? I just read to you that a woman got shot. I just read to you about somebody getting molested just up the road from here. But thank fucking God we got the graffiti artist. Thank fucking God we took down this awful woman. This horrible, horrible, horrible woman. Stay golden, Moreno. Among the vandalized businesses was Medfast Urgent Care at 1840 South Washington Avenue. As a small business owner, I take pride in contributing to the life and safety of our neighborhood, said Dr. Davis Williams, owner of Medfast Urgent Care Centers. Like many others, I invest long hours and personal savings into keeping my doors open, employing local people and serving the community. That is why it was deeply discouraging to arrive to my business and find it vandalized. Improved, you mean to say? The individual responsible was a young transient woman. I love that they just keep using that word. While I do not believe punishment alone is the answer, the damage caused to my business was real. This impacts our organization financially because we need to repair the damage. Do you not have insurance for this shit? Isn't there insurance for this? We lose time and wages that should be used to manage our business. This vandalism also adds costs to our small businesses, which we are already struggling to absorb amid rising prices. Yes, that is a big issue around here. As you recall, Shiloh's got shut down. Market's getting, it's getting fun. It's getting hairy out there. Just you wait, guys. Everything's going to start cranking up in prices real soon. Real soon. Compassion for vulnerable individuals should not come at the expense of ignoring the harm done to others who are trying to make an honest living. This incident highlights a broader issue our community must confront. So not the shooting, not the drugs that have been trafficked, not the children getting molested, the graffiti on your building. Oh my God. The growing gap between social support systems and public accountability. Business owners should not be left to bear the financial and emotional burden of the problems that require coordinated responses from social services, local government, and community organizations. I remain committed to this neighborhood, but commitment must be mutual. We need solutions that protect livelihoods while offering meaningful help to those in crisis before. Yeah, fucking whatever. All right, I'm done with this shit. Twat. What do I got? All right, you know what? Enough of Titusville and Brevard and all of the. We may come back here for a little bit, but I need a breather because I just can't stand all the beautiful people here, all of the salt in this community. But Florida does have its gems. Florida is a state that has a little bit of everything for everybody. Everywhere, you know what I mean? Excuse the fuck out of me. Holy shit. Ormond Beach American Legion post commander arrested on child pornography charge. Didn't I tell you? Florida, baby. Ormond Beach, Florida, the commander of an American Legion post in Ormond Beach was arrested on Friday for multiple counts of possession of sexual performance by a child. These are the people we should be trying to arrest, good doctor. Not the graffiti artist that happens to be beautifying this place. One spray paint can at a time. We should be going after John DeLage, 57 of Ormond Beach, was arrested on Friday evening by the Volusia Sheriff's Office following an investigation that began with a tip to the VSO Child Exploitation Unit from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. DeLage is now facing 40 counts of possession of sexual performance by a child. Jesus Christ, man. Is this guy on the Epstein files too? God damn it, son. 40 counts. Now, this is small time. This is local stuff. This isn't one of the big dogs. This isn't This isn't like my good old Jeffy boy. Epstein was murdered. DeLage was arrested at American Legion Post 267, where he is commanding officer. Boy, that's going to hurt his image. Let me tell you what. All those young men that follow this guy around, probably going to lose a lot of following when they find out that he was watching 7-year-olds jork it. Disgusting. Why is every week there always some fucking pervert and within an hour's drive that has videos of like some kid that's like diddling themselves? Or if it's not them diddling themselves, it's the guy from last week who had videos of people fucking dogs. This is crazy to me. Is everybody Humbert? That's a Lolita reference. Many of you won't get that. VSO said staff cooperated with the arresting deputies. Imagine defending him. They run in to arrest him. They tell you what the crime is for, and you still go, you know what? Maybe that 8-year-old deserved it. Maybe they led him on. Maybe, just like that music director, he was being led on by a young female that just couldn't control herself and her urges. Who are we to blame him entirely? Truly. All I'm saying is there could be more parties. I can't even. There could be more parties at large to blame. God damn it, man. DeLage is currently being held in Volusia County Jail on a $400,000 bond. That's $10,000 per charge. That's $10,000 per charge. 40 counts, $400,000. That's crazy. To even be able to have bond when you have 40 counts of possession of child porn, why are you being deport? I don't know where we're going to deport you to, but Jesus Christ. Maybe Somalia. Let's send him to Somalia. He'll do well there. God damn, man. 40 counts of child porn? I don't even know if Michael Jackson has that many flights to fucking Epstein's Island. I don't even know if Bill Clinton has that many. He probably does. He probably has way more than that. But Jesus Christ, 40 counts of possession of child porn. That's as many days as it flooded on Noah's Ark. But instead, this man's camera was flooded with child porn. Let it rain, rain. Sorry, Bruno Mars. It hit. It hit. You know, sometimes you can't explain it. It's just a feeling. Like when you have 40 counts of child porn on your phone. God damn it, man. Ain't Florida fun? Ain't Florida fun, baby? You know what? Can't do any more of Florida. Okay, I just can't. Let's get into other states. You know, I've been hearing a lot of good things out of the northwest of here. Out of a place like Minneapolis. I hear good things were happening there. What actually occurred? Oh yeah. This woman got her fucking face blown in by a goddamn ICE agent. Shouldn't be surprised. She was a lesbian. She turned away from God. She turned away from God and took 3 loads to the face. She had husbands before, so it's not that it was her first time taking loads. It's just that these were definitely the most powerful loads she's ever taken to the face. And if she was ever asked how it tasted, probably like ice. I kid. This is all actually a very sad fucking incident that occurred. What happened was this young woman who was the age of 37, young, That's a middle-aged woman. Especially in lesbian years. I think you're past middle-aged and lesbian. What are you at 37? You're entering basically like being an old spinster. I digress. This woman who was an active protester of ICE happened to be driving through an ICE, let's call it a demonstration where they were arresting somebody and where they were going through and blocking off the road or whatever it was. I'm not going to say that she was obstructing justice, but from what the video showed, it looked as though she was trying to sit in the way of these ICE agents, these nice ICE agents, these nice ICE babies. And right as she was pulling around, they said, "Stop the car." And she said, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad." And right as they were going around to get her plate, here, you know what? Instead of me giving you my rendition, let me read a little bit more from this so I can have a bit more clarity. Excuse me. In her final moments, Renee Good was in the driver's seat of a maroon Honda Pilot wearing a light blue flannel over a... Flannel, you say? I know not to wear this out. God damn. Apparently ICE agents shoot people in flannels. Heads up for you people at home. Heads up for all you band kids and you theater nerds. Don't wear your flannels out. Heads up for all you Twilight fans. Shout out Twilight fans. Don't wear your flannels out. Wearing a light blue flannel over a red hoodie and speaking... See, so she's hot and she's cold. She's... Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know how that fucking... A light blue flannel over a red hoodie and speaking to an immigration agent who was recording her on his phone. "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad," she said as the agent circled her car, which was blocking part of the road. Interesting. He was using a cell phone to record Miss Good and her wife, Becca. See? Lesbian. I didn't even say it. They put it there. They put it there. She turned away from God. Not me. Not... Who prodded him. "You want to come at us?" So really what I'm hearing is this is like those situations, gentlemen, you'll appreciate this one, where your girlfriend picks a fight with somebody and expects you to whoop their ass, and then you get your shit rocked. But in this case, she got her shit shot. Women, let this be a lesson to you. Please stop instigating fights for us. Stop instigating fights for your girlfriends or your wives or for your boyfriends or your husbands. We, in our heads, think we are John Wick, think we are Rambo. And some of us are. But 98% of the time, we are not. Just all I gotta say is, I blame the wife right now. I blame Becca. If it weren't for you instigating everything, Becca, Renee might still be here. You know what? Maybe this was part of her plan, too. Kind of like the father that got pushed into the water by his son. Maybe this is one of those moments where she had life insurance policy, and so she got her wife shot by an ICE agent, so that way she could claim... What if there was a very particular thing that they put in on the insurance policy? They go in and they sign all the paperwork. "Hey, babe, why did you put death by ice in for the insurance policy?" "Well, we live in Minneapolis. I didn't want one of these ice cubes falling and penetrating you. You know what I mean? No more penetration from foreign objects because we're lesbian now." And maybe it was a secret ploy because a year later, while ICE is raiding their town, she says to herself, now is time to act, because ICE was ambiguous. There was no terminology whether it meant ICE the frozen water, Ice Ice Baby, She Would Dance to Death, or ICE, the Immigration Enforcement Agency. Moments later, Miss Good was dead, shot by an immigration and customs enforcement agent, Jonathan Ross, on Wednesday morning. It's a good day to get shot on. Hump day? I'd say that's a hump to get over. But I mean, if you're running over an immigrant or an immigration agent, that's a hump to get over too. I'm not saying that she was trying to run him over. I'm not putting blame on anybody. I'm not doing this so you who is at home listening do not assign whatever. I wish them all well. Stay golden. Don't run over ICE agents would be my advice. ICE agents, please stop trying to unload on these women's faces like OG Mudbone in the heyday. Just, please, please, please. The agent was near the front of her car and fired his gun after she drove toward him, then turned to the right on a snowy Minneapolis street. Amid ongoing debate about whether the shooting was justified and the overall tactics employed by the deportation operations of the Trump administration. That is one hell of a sentence. Employed by the deportation operations of the Trump administration. To expand the population, you must enter a woman's separation. Thousands in Minneapolis across the country have been mourning Miss Good, 37, who had only recently moved to Minneapolis with her wife and 6-year-old son. This weekend, the protest against ICE took place in cities and towns across the country. Yes, they have definitely been active, needless to say. When she was killed, Miss Good and her wife had been participating in a protest in response to ICE agents who had been spotted in the neighborhood, one of whom had gotten a vehicle stuck in the snow. Christine Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, has said that Miss Good was one of several agitators who were trying to block the agents from leaving. In a chat called Central Rapid Response on Signal, the encrypted app, Miss Good's wife was described by another member as a helper in Wednesday's action. What did I fucking say? Did I not say that the wife had a plan in this? Fuck you, Becca. I blame you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. We've been having some technical difficulties on the last couple shows. It's, growing pains, adjusting pains. Pains in the ass. A lot like things that happen in The Outsiders. We'll be getting to that later. But back to what I was saying. Fuck you, Becca. Becca Good, in a statement to the Minnesota Public Radio, described her wife as a Christian woman who believed in loving others as well as finding and nurturing kindness in people. She was made of sunshine, Becca Good said. Excuse me. I disagree. It sounds like she was made of ICE hatred and lesbianism. It's an angry combo. Miss Good, a poet and a mother of 3, was born in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and grew up in the state. That explains a little bit of this. Later in life, she moved to Virginia and Kansas City, Missouri. That's a very fun thing, Kansas City being in Missouri. Before arriving in Minneapolis sometime last year. She attended Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, where she won a prize in 2020 for a poem entitled On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs. Well, this sounds like a phenomenal woman. Like a lady that would never obstruct justice in this country, especially by interfering with ICE agents and their actions. Before graduating with an English degree in December of that year. Okay, so a lesbian from Colorado with an English degree. Okay. I've just described to you every Disney film from 2017 to 2025. And continuing on. A former classmate remembered her camaraderie when they were both pregnant during the same semester in 2019. We encountered each other at a time in life when I was walking on a new wobbly when I was walking on new wobbly legs in very uncharted territory, said the classmate Marie Branch. She said Miss Good's excitement for her... These names are crazy. She said Miss Good's excitement for her new son was palpable and that Miss Good, who had already had 2 children, had helped guide her. She mentored me when she... Okay, yeah. You know what? I'm not going to go through this entire woman's life. But just know that a lesbian got shot, a lesbian with multiple children, and apparently who was a Christian. I disagree. But whatever. Furthering on the topic, apparently it seems as though there's video footage showing the different angles that it wasn't the cop to the side, it was the cop that was in front of her, by the way. There were 3 cops there that were surrounding the vehicle. There was one here, one directly on the window that was walking and recording. And then there was a guy in the front corner that's the one that lit her the fuck up and was assaulted violently, vigorously, aggressively, maliciously, and horribly. This poor ICE agent. This poor ICE agent. This poor ICE agent who was only there to help pull families apart and unload an entire clip into lesbian faces. Sir, we've all wanted to unload on a lesbian's face, but this is a bit too far, if you ask me. An abuse of power, I say. An abuse of power. Disgusting. Absolutely abhorrent. What was funny is that same officer is now ICE agent who shot Renee Good suffered internal bleeding, officials say. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent who fatally shot Renee Good last week in Minneapolis, Jonathan Ross, suffered internal bleeding to the torso following the incident. Okay, we've all seen the video. I don't think that he's suffering internal bleeding from this. I think he's suffering bruised shins and maybe a deflated ego. And maybe a little bit of joint pain from shooting this bitch. This woman. This person. According to 2 U.S. officials briefed on his medical condition, it was unclear how extensive the bleeding was. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed Ross's injury, but has not yet responded to CBS News requests for more information. This story will be updated. What if... He walked off the screen. If you watch the video, he walks off set afterward. I'm willing to bet that he went home and had his boyfriend punch him in the stomach until he couldn't take it anymore. And then he went into the hospital and said that it was that sorry lesbian. Because apparently gays and lesbians don't like each other, or at least only do to a degree. I'm not sure their inner workings and dynamic. I've only heard rumors. But my point is, this gay ICE agent went home and had his boyfriend beat him up like it was a 1960s abortion. And then he went in and said he had internal bleeding. Boo-hoo-hoo. Videos from the scene showed Ross walking away after the incident. Ross has not returned to work, one source said, but did not say why. I know why he's not returning to work. Because he doesn't want all of the fucking people in Minneapolis to swarm him and try to molest him. Or murder him. Or murder-lest him. Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary... all of these alliteration. Previously acknowledged that Ross was taken to the hospital after the shooting and was released the same day. She said he was recovering from... Hello? Oh. Sorry. Had another technical malfunction. Ross was taken to the hospital after the shooting and was released the same day. She said he was recovering from his injuries, described him as an experienced law enforcement officer who believed he was defending himself and fellow agents. What a good guy. What a hell of a guy. Willing to lay his life on the line and shoot citizens in the face. That's a hell of a man. The officer was hit by the vehicle. She hit him. He went to the hospital. A doctor did treat him. He has been released, Noam told reporters on January 7th. I think it's hilarious. I think this should have been on January 6th that she told everybody this. We need to start doing more things to like celebrate that anniversary. Like, could we have waited to capture Maduro? Could we have shot this woman in the face at a different time? Anniversaries, people, do they mean nothing to anyone in America anymore? Ross, a 10-year law enforcement veteran with ICE, was seriously injured in June on a separate incident in the Minneapolis area when he was dragged by a car during an attempted arrest requiring 33 stitches and hospital care, court records show. U.S. Border Patrol command... I'm assuming that this bleeding is from the previous injury, if I had to guess. But if not, then that lesbian got what she deserved. Goddamn English degree. Fuck are you doing with your life? Living in Minneapolis. U.S. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino told CBS News in an interview Sunday that Ross has had several threats against his life, adding, "He's in a safe location recovering from those injuries, and we're thankful that he's recovering." Threats against his life. I fucking wonder why. He's in a safe location. You know what? Good. Stay golden. Stay golden, Ross. Stay golden. Because you know what? I'm not the only one who thinks like this. Actually, believe it or not, Renee's ex-father-in-law says that he's not even blaming the ICE agent. He says, and I quote here, hold on. Renee Nicole's father-in-law does not blame ICE for the shooting. Here, I would like to get the actual quote. "I just think we make bad choices, and that's the problem." Bad choices, come on. Sometimes you try to run over an ICE agent. Sometimes you shoot a citizen in the face 3 times. And that's the problem. There's so much chaos in the whole world today. We need to turn to God and walk in the Spirit of God. You see what I've been saying this entire podcast? Finally, somebody else who's willing to speak my mind other than me. It was this man. Maybe if they were better Christians, they wouldn't be in this situation. We need to turn to God and walk in the Spirit of God and let God lead him in the Spirit of God and let him lead us and guide us. Good was married to Macklin's son who died in 2023, and he is the grandfather of her 6-year-old orphan son. Okay, so technically this woman may not have even been a lesbian. Sounds like she was a bisexual who only turned to womanism and lesbianism because her last husband's traumatic death fucked her up. She loved that man so much she didn't want another dick in her life, and she didn't get one. But she did get an ice pick. Oh! Macklin was pushed by CNN anchor Aaron Burnett for his opinion on whether Good's shooting death was justified, to which he said he was not blaming anybody. "It's a hard situation all around," he said. "I don't blame ICE. I don't blame Good's wife, Rebecca. I do. I don't blame Renee. I just wish that, if you're walking in the Spirit of God, I don't think she would have been there." What have I been saying? If she would have been a better Christian, this wouldn't have been her fate. That's the way I look at it, he said. You know what? Props to this man. He's handling it a lot better than most people are. Some people are handling it like how Mark Ruffalo is handling this. It's just... Have y'all ever seen Team America, that movie that the creators of South Park made? Well, little spoilers in case any of you fucking losers haven't seen it yet. It's worth every second of your life. Excuse me. Because America, fuck yeah. And, it's just classic original American art. And for 2, it introduced us to FAG, the Film Actors Guild. And what FAG is, and what FAGs are a bunch of actors who think that because of the fact that they have influence and some money and a little bit of time on screen, that their opinions are worth more than just that. That they're worth more than the paper they're printed on or the article they're typed in. Oh, it's just beautiful to watch a fag at work. Film Actors Guild. Film Actors Guild. Well, I guess we'll call them fags. Film Actors Guild Soldier. Or Sodomite. Film Actors Guild Sodomite. I like that. So, local fag, Mark Ruffalo. The actor's sober note of sanity on Sunday night was the latest courageous move from a man who seems more invested in activism than acting. We can tell by his movies and the way that he acts in them. Jesus Christ, man. Did you see what he did to the Hulk? Did you see what he did in any film he's ever been in, ever? Now You See Me, Mickey 17. God damn, man. We can tell he focuses more on activism than he does on his fucking acting. Jesus Christ. He's a fag. That's what they do. They think that they can, how do I say this? Actors are some of the most despicable people. I mean, for you people at home who are wondering why, it's because an actor is somebody. I love actors for what they provide. I don't like actors as people. They are paid to lie. Their entire job is to be the best liar and to convince you so thoroughly that they believe that they are somebody else. That is the job of an actor or an actress. They're fags. And this guy, it's just, okay. I keep going off. Let me stop. At times like these, when the world teeters on the brink of several terrifying calamities at once, award seasons can be something of a tightrope. Yes, you're right. With children being bombed in other countries, this awards show can be a hell of a tightrope. With us supplying Israel with bombers to go and attack other countries, yes, the awards can be a tightrope. With women getting shot in Minneapolis and children getting molested here in Florida, you know, award seasons can be a hell of a tightrope. This weekend's Golden Globe Awards were a perfect case in point. The main criticism leveled at the ceremony so far seems to be that it didn't adequately reflect the moment. What are these words? It was all a bit 1920s Berlin. What the fuck is that? With a shimmering array of beautiful millionaires busy congratulating themselves, oblivious to the fear and exhaustion of the rest of the world. So, do you like these people or no? Little wonder then that the only real moment of the show to go viral was a red carpet interview with Mark Ruffalo, called over by an interviewer to explain the pin he was wearing on his tuxedo. Ruffalo explained that, "I'm not feeling so great." I imagine so. The award season is a hell of a tightrope. We have a woman, Renee Good, was murdered in our streets of America today, and I am here in this beautiful Armani suit in order to celebrate my award ceremony and all of this hard work that I have done. But just in case I lose, because I'm actually a B-rated actor that made it to the A-list because I got lucky by being the Hulk and the revampment or reinvention of the Avengers. What was I talking about? I was talking about this pin. Called over to interview to explain the pin. Not feeling so great. We have a woman, Renee Good, was murdered in our streets of America today. As much as I love all of this, and I'm going to go and I'm going to eat this steak dinner, and I'm going to have the creme brulee, and I'm going to drink the $4,000 bottles each of worth of champagne, and I'm going to drink glasses of it. And I may lose tonight, but guess what? You'll remember. You'll remember that I'm an activist, that I'm a fag, and that when an actor says something about this world, it means something. It's something that always hits home and it hits to the heart. As much as I love all this, I don't know if I can pretend like this crazy stuff isn't happening. No, I imagine it's difficult to go there in your several $1,000 suit with your $50,000 watch and eat a steak dinner and be around a bunch of millionaires in a multi-million-dollar award ceremony and then complain about somebody getting murdered states over. It's a tightrope. Stay golden, Mark. Enemy of the show. First one thus far, enemy of the show. Fucking fag. God damn. An assistant attorney general has decided not to investigate the killing of an unarmed civilian by an ICE agent, even though it would be a case of a shooting by law enforcement. Ruffalo was what just happened? Ruffalo was far from the only attender who wore a be good again? Sorry, everybody. Hold on. Welcome back, hopefully, for the last interruption of this podcast. I can't tell you. It's been crazy since this last few weeks we've started this. I blame the CIA and Sebin, but I guess that's just me. Me being paranoid. Now, what was I doing before? I was calling Mark Ruffalo a fag and all of these other people. And I think that if they do like a Team America 2, it should be called Revenge of the Fags. And I think that Mark Ruffalo should be the new leader after Alec Baldwin failed. And it should just be Ruffalo, always in like a designer suit with a bejeweled pin that says "No Kings" constantly. But every time he's plotting or talks to Team America, he should just be painted like shit green. Like he's angry, he's the Hulk, he's Mark Ruffalo, but he's not like the good Hulk, so his form isn't going to change. It's just going to be like him going green. He should be the new leader of FAG in the next Team America movie. Team America 2, Revenge of the Fags. It can also star, according to this, there were more people there who wore it, so it can star these people too. Ruffalo was far from the only attender who wore a Be Good badge to the ceremony. Jean Smart, I don't even know who that is. Ariana Grande, are we sure that she's strong enough to wear a pin and not fall over? Wanda Sykes and Natasha Lyonne. I know Wanda Sykes, I don't know who Natasha Lyonne is. All did the same, but he does seem to be one of the few figures who consistently speaks his mind on matters such as these. The activism and political views section of his Wikipedia page runs to 14 dense paragraphs of causes that he has supported on issues ranging from Iran to pollution to the preservation of Manhattan churches. What a beautiful man. What a beautiful, wonderful man. Just this week, post-Globes, he signed a letter calling for the immediate restoration of medical care in Gaza. I agree. We should be putting more money into Gaza and not the citizens here in the U.S. that are losing medical care benefits the more that this administration stays in charge. Or just in general, it's very interesting. You speak out against the current regime as you call it, and then you go and spend money in other places. It's almost like you're just trying to be an attention whore for some. What do I know? Maybe he is just a benevolent good man. What do I know? Maybe he's not just a fag. Maybe he's a super fag. Being this outspoken puts Ruffalo in crosshairs. Just today, a newspaper called him the most sanctimonious man in Hollywood. I'm going to have to agree with that one. On a serious note, I do agree with that one. That's, which in an age where the entertainment industry is being run by a smaller and smaller number of figures, they don't want to say it, but a few are willing to say it. That smaller and smaller number of figures is the Jews. It's, let's call it like it is. Can be dangerous game to play, but the beauty of Mark Ruffalo is that he has always danced to the beat of his own drum. What a guy. What a guy. In terms of professional output, he has always managed to juggle his personal projects with blockbuster fare. What? In 1 year alone, he managed to make Dark Waters, a film about a lawyer trying to land a hit on a multinational chemical company. I think this man thinks he's an activist in these films. I think that he thinks that he is these people. Have you seen him at the end of Mickey 17? He's like, we made a documentary. You're a retard. Not just a fag, you're a retard. And Avengers Endgame, a film where he played a version of the Incredible Hulk who can dab. Yes, who can dab. He ruined the Hulk. He made a horrible Hulk. He took the Hulk that we had and he shat on it. He shat on it. And I'm not the only one who shares this view. I would love if we got a new Hulk in. You know what, Disney? I will start watching your films again. And I know that may not seem like something to you, but it is a great honor. I'll start watching your films again if you replace Ruffalo. Hashtag replace Ruffalo. That's what I'm going to say. Fuck Ruffalo and the Ruffalites. And fuck Ruffles chips too while I'm at. Not actually, but it's just got the rough in it. And I don't. Fuck it. And commercially one of the second biggest film of all time, and the other was just the 130th biggest film of 2019. So the 130th biggest film of 2019. Not the top 100, not the top 50, not the top 10, the 130th. But Ruffalo approached both with the same vigor. Dude, he's getting grandfathered in at this point with Disney. In other words, he is proof that speaking out on issues that resonate personally won't necessarily harm your career so long as you mean it. Or it sounds like he has a lot of rich people who sponsor him to say these things, as actors and political pundits and people like this do. Which brings us back to the tightrope. Yes, not the people dying, not the people without medical care, not the drug-addled children getting molested. The tightrope of the awards ceremony. Political statements have a history of going down badly at awards shows. Michael Moore was booed at the Oscars in 2003, and John Glazer created a firestorm when he spoke about Palestine during his acceptance speech in 2024. Because they're actors. They're annoying. They're fags. They're overdramatic twats. They're cunts. Ugh. But Mark Ruffalo managed to hit the sweet spot. His red carpet moment this weekend landed because it managed to be awkward, sincere, and unresolved at the same time. It wasn't so much an out-of-touch sermon as a howl of frustration, and who can relate to that? Jesus Christ. All right, the article's done. I'm glad because I can't read any more of that. That's crazy. I don't know. Whatever, man. You know, 2 people were shot in Portland. Does that mean next time he's going to wear 2 pins? Does that mean he's going to wear a pin that says, I take my drinks with no ice? 2 people shot in Portland last week by the U.S. Border Patrol have been released from the hospital and are now in federal custody and face criminal charges. Yes, I'm not going to read you this whole... It's a whole thing about... Wait a minute. Wait. Just a bunch of other details. The new federal filings give new accounts of what transpired leading up to the shooting on Thursday. The records show that they were searching for Zambrano Contreras. If there were a wall, we wouldn't have had this problem. And her red Toyota Tacoma, which was registered to a friend that we're just going to call her Zambi, had made payments to. Cesar E. Ponce, a member of a Border Patrol team from El Paso, Texas, wrote that Zambi entered the U.S. through the southern border about 1 mile east of Paso del Norte port of entry in September 23. Ponce wrote in the court filings, the hunt for Zambi stemmed from a public tip. Concerned citizens provided law enforcement with information that the two individuals may have been involved in a shooting in Portland. Blah, blah. Hold on. Here we go. Concerned citizens provided law enforcement with information. The Border Patrol identified themselves as law enforcement officers to the occupants and were wearing law enforcement markings. FBI Special Agent Daniel Jeffries wrote in the complaint, Nino Moncada was anxious and visibly moving around the driver's seat, one of the Border Patrol agents told federal investigators. With a last name like that, I'd be nervous too if I saw Border Patrol coming up on me. After agents commanded them to exit the truck, Nino put the truck in reverse and collided with an unmarked vehicle with enough speed and force to cause significant damage, according to Jeffries. They should have had that guy from Minneapolis there. They could have just had this iced out and a few shots. Come on now. And Nino then put the vehicle in drive and performed several forward and reverse maneuvers, striking the Border Patrol vehicle multiple times. One Border Patrol agent said they were afraid Nino could hit them with the pickup. An agent identified as BP4 told the FBI that they drew their service weapon but aimed it toward the ground. Should have aimed it for the face. It seems to work. Another agent drew and fired at the driver, Jeffries wrote. The identity of that agent has not been released and is not listed as among the agents who have been interviewed by federal investigators. Interesting. See, somebody was willing to make the attempt. They're just apparently shit aim. Two of the involved agents told the FBI they heard two gunshots. One said the shots were fired into the driver's side window. As the red Toyota drove off, the immigration officers told the FBI they did not know if anyone was hit. Both were shot and minutes later called 911. 911. 9/11 was a tragedy, though. They called 911 from Brea apartment complex where witnesses told OPB that Nino and Zambi sometimes stayed. Portland police and paramedics arrived on the scene while a tourniquet was being placed around his arm. Nino repeatedly said, "Fuck ICE." You know, I'm noticing a theme with these people who keep getting shot. I don't know. They're against Iceland, I suppose. Or really good margaritas. The irony of having a margarita with ice. A lot of things come with ice. But the funniest part is, it's just this theme where somebody is getting shot because they keep trying to run over Border Patrol and ICE agents. I don't know what the common theme is here. It's crazy to me. Portland police and paramedics arrived on the scene. Later at the hospital, Nino was interviewed by FBI and admitted to intentionally ramming the Border Patrol when intended to flee. Nino has not yet been indicted with a federal grand jury. Instead, evidence and witnesses could testify. Face cross-examination. Have a probable cause hearing before the judge. The judge would determine case moving forward. What's interesting, and here we go. Homeland Security officials have been quick to call those shot by federal officers in Minneapolis, Chicago, and Portland as criminals, domestic terrorists, or gang members. Agency officials claim that Nino is a member of the Tren de Aragua gang, which started in Venezuelan prison. The group has spread internationally, has been one of the primary targets of the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown. Is this what all this is? You're tired of the gangs here, and so you're invading their country? Come on, Donnie, that's not right. They accuse Zambi of being affiliated with the gang. They accused Zambi of being in the gang, and they accused Nino of being a prostitute. And when you're gangbanging and tricking, whatever, you better hope that you don't run into Border Patrol. Because, ooh, baby, They taking shots at you now. You're not just taking shots to the face from from sucking dick. You're taking shots to the face from ICE agents. You're not just gang banging, like gang banging the bitch. You're getting gang banged by ICE. Multiple agents shooting at you. Multiple agents dumping loads on you at a time. It's disgusting. Reminds me of a movie I saw recently. Whatever. I'm tired of hearing of Americans getting shot. Alleged Americans getting shot. Did you guys know that allegedly there was a sonic weapon used in Venezuela during the Maduro? Let's call it a kidnapping now. Let's call it what it is. Eyewitness accounts describe security forces vomiting blood and falling to the ground during the operation in Caracas. Claims that a mysterious sonic weapon was used in Venezuela have fueled speculation about exotic U.S. military technology and its potential effects on the human body. Interesting. You know what's funny? Hitler was creating a sound gun too. Intriguing times. One eyewitness account from Venezuelan guards shared on social media by White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt claimed the weapon brought Venezuelan and Cuban security forces to their knees, bleeding through their nose and vomiting blood. That's normal. Watch Stranger Things. 11 does that in every episode. Every white woman named Tiffany that is in a sorority does that on a weekend basis. That's normal. While the Trump administration has not confirmed what weapon, if any, may have been used, defense experts point to a well-known acoustic device that has been in use for years. Known as a long-range acoustic device, LRAD, it's been described as the voice of God. With all this Christian revelry and using the weapon called the voice of God, it's a little ironic. According to Mark Kankian, a retired Marine lieutenant colonel and senior advisor for the Center for Strategic International Studies. The device deploys a direct short-range cone of sound. You guys ever watch this? You know what? It's funny we go to this after talking about Ruffalo. Fag. You guys remember the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, the good one? The good Hulk, when the movie was not just emo Ruffalo. You just don't understand. My point is, and they brought out those giant fucking sonic guns to blast the Hulk with. They're using that on Venezuelans. I'm gonna laugh if a Venezuelan Hulk comes out of this shit. I'm not gonna laugh because that would really suck here. But really consider it. What if that's why they are doing this? What if Maduro was just creating Venezuelan Hulk? Venezuelk. No. Hulkasuelo. No. We'll think of something. The Incredible Maduro. I don't know. It's not like a microphone, where everybody's neighborhood. It's only within this cone, said Kansian. U.S. operators may have deployed it as they were landing on the ground in Caracas, Venezuela, as a way to disorient security figures and warn them to drop their weapons. Yes, by causing them to have aneurysms, that is a warning. The warning is you get an aneurysm. LRADs can project spoken commands at intense volumes or emit a loud piercing tone designed to get attention and deter movement. At a close range, the sound can be painful and disorienting, and in extreme cases can damage hearing or rupture eardrums, but the devices are not designed to cause lasting physical harm. Oh, I'm sure they're not going to cause lasting physical harm. Yes. When has any government ever had a weapon that can cause people to drop to the ground with the flick of a switch and not abused it? I think that's the thing is, you know what? It fucked up the Hulk. What do you think it's going to do to Venezuelans? U.S. forces used them for crowd control in Iraq when Iraqis got too close to the U.S. military installments, according to Kansian. The devices can reach up to 140 decibels of sound. The intensity drops quickly with distance and angle. This is why operators can stand nearby but outside the beam. That's terrifying. That's fucking terrifying. Imagine you're dying in Venezuela and they're playing like the music from Wicked over these fucking LRAD cones of sound. The last thing you get to hear in Venezuela as you're being bombed by U.S. helicopters and drones is this shrill, piercing sound of Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande singing in your ears. Or it's just Sabrina Carpenter just talking about how she just like sucks dick, and that's all you get to hear. You don't even speak the language, so you just get to hear her go into the microphone. Sad. I hope they were playing something cool. They had the option to play some badass stuff. Like R. Kelly. They could have been playing R. Kelly. You know what? There's worse things to listen to when you die. You could be listening to your grandmother complain at you and you have to stab her to death. I would rather listen to Steve from Stranger Things while I'm being blasted to death by U.S. soldiers. For decades, the Pentagon's defense For decades, the Pentagon's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, has studied non-lethal technologies intended to temporarily incapacitate adversaries without causing permanent damage. Yes, that's what they've been doing. Publicly available research has explored acoustic and electromagnetic effects designed to overwhelm the senses, disrupt balance or motor control, and render targets briefly unable to fight or maneuver. Can Kasapoglu, a defense analyst, Kasapoglu, a defense analyst at the Hudson Institute, said such research has fueled speculation about more advanced incapacitation systems, but stressed there is no public evidence any experimental DARPA technology was used in Venezuela. There are some non-lethal technologies that DARPA has been working on. Yeah, it's just them going on again. So basically what they're saying is they're going to bust your fucking eardrums and then they're going to come in and shoot you in the face. Beware U.S. citizens. Beware citizens of everywhere that you see our soldiers at. They're going to bust your eardrums and force you to listen to Taylor Swift's newest album. And then you're going to die. You're just going to die because that's what it is. That's all you get to hear when you die. You get to hear fucking Playboy Cardi when you die. They just go in blasting Cardi into your ears. It's just Kendrick. A minor. While they're just fucking ramming you. Right in the fucking face. Sad. Sad, sad, sad. You know what? I've had enough of all this depressing stuff. I've had enough of all these fags. So, in lieu of talking about gay things, we're going to talk about The Outsiders. Okay, now I guess there's no way around it. I gotta say this. This is one of the gayest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit. Never in my life have I thought that I was gonna see... Do you guys know what the movie Brokeback Mountain is? So you know how there's like that buildup of sexual tension before they go a butt fucking in the tent? I wouldn't know. I've never seen the film. I've only heard. But you know that sexual tension that builds up when two young cowboys see each other and think, damn, I want to ride that boy. Well, that's what The Outsiders was. Just that tension. It would have made more sense if you would have told me that this was a homoerotic film about white boys who grow up in impoverished, trashy neighborhoods and have no ability to come out. I might believe you, because woo boy did it feel like it. You know what? Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen a movie that came out in 1983. Just want to give that out. Spoilers, I always say. The film, how do I say this? The film is about this young lad named Ponyboy who lives in the slums of this little ghetto city. I don't even fucking remember the name of the city. And every day he has to deal with these urges to not molest other young men. Every day he has these visions where he's violently raping other young boys. And he has to quell that every day. And the way he quells this is by smoking cigarettes and getting soaked. The getting soaked thing comes important later. And as the film starts on, you see things like him laying in bed. Ponyboy is played by C. Thomas Howell. We'll just call him Howell for short. There's a scene where he's laying in bed with his brother, who is happening to be Rob Lowe in this. They get about 3 inches from each other's faces. Looks like they're about to make sweet, passionate love. And then all of a sudden they start talking about dreams and where they're going to be and brotherly love and stuff like that. And you're like, come on, get to the fucking. No, but if we're being honest here, this shit, it was very intimate for two brothers to be. And then they roll over. And all I got to say is, as a man who was once a teenager, you wake up with some very fucking thorough erections. Thorough erections. I am not cuddling my younger brother or my older. I'm not cuddling any of you fucking fags while I got a fucking stiff one. God damn it, man. You'll be waking up to like my dick being the outsider. It's not right. The point is, as the film progresses, Howell, Ponyboy, and his lover, Johnny, they go out and they go to the movies, and these young girls, they decide to hit on these poor young boys, not knowing that they're gay. And their boyfriend comes around and starts picking a fight with these boys. And again, women, stop picking fights for your boyfriends. We don't want it. We didn't ask for it. Some of them asked for it, but most of us didn't ask for it. Becca, stop picking fights for your lesbian lovers. It's not right. Excuse me. Kids, don't smoke. Disgusting habit. And later that night, the angry, drunken boyfriend comes and decides to try and soak Ponyboy. But luckily, Johnny comes around with his knife and he stabs the guy from behind. He buries his knife deep in this man's ribs from behind. That's how you do it, by the way, Christian. You just stab. This fucking kid from the slums didn't need to look it up. He could. It's 1983. He couldn't look it up. You need to look it up. This generation, man. This generation. But after he buries his steel inside this man's ribs for soaking his boyfriend, the two of them run away. And the two of them, they run a train together. they wind up slipping. They wind up breaking open the wood and sliding in the back door of a church. And then every night they make a fire and cuddle together. The film is supposed to be about, or the book is supposed to be about brotherly love, and I think the film is too, but he somehow made a film that's just, it's just gay. It's just very gay. There's one scene where Ponyboy is just staring, him and Johnny are staring at the sunset, but the way they have it set up is Johnny's here and Pony's behind him, looking at the sunset from behind him. It looks like he's staring at the back of his head like it's the sunset. Again, if you would have told me that this was a movie about repressed homosexual young men in the ghetto, I would believe you. I would 100% believe you. But, whatever. The boys go back to town. Oh wait, no, hold up. Before that, there's a fire that breaks out at the church, and Johnny and Pony have to toss children out the window while there's heat in the building. And eventually a giant fat log falls on Johnny's back, and the heat consumes him because he wasn't Christian enough. And later in the film, he winds up paralyzed and blah, blah, blah. And now the town goes, or not the town, it's the Greasers and the Sochas. The Greasers and the Sochas. They're going to have a rumble. It's going to be a bunch of dudes who get together in the park and fist each other violently until one team gives up. And there's a big whole thing called the Rumble. And so the time comes, it starts pouring rain, and all these men get slippery wet, fisting each other in the mud. Of course, the Greasers win because they're better at fisting, I guess. Johnny dies because that fat log that landed on his back just took him out. It's too much. Killed little Ralph Macchio. It's too much. He got reincarnated as the Karate Kid. And then at the end, the one straight character, the one prison boy who's fucked up the entire film, he goes crazy. After fisting a bunch of dudes, he loses his mind because they converted him. And now the only way for him to go out properly is to get blasted by cops. Just like Renee Good. He wanted to take loads to the face in honor of his homeboy Johnny. I think it's a disgusting display, but it's touching. It is touching. Brotherly love. And then at the end of the film, you see Ponyboy and Soda Pop, his older brother, and what is the other one? Daryl. They're all sitting at dinner and they get into a fight, and Soda Pop's like, I'm tired of being in between the two of you when you go at it. He's tired of being Lucky Pierre. And then he runs into the park all dramatically, and his brothers chase him down. And then they agree to be nicer to each other, and oh, sorry about that, everybody. I think that fag is trying to come and get me right now. I think that I was talking shit about The Outsiders, and Patrick Swayze's ghost came after me, and Mark Ruffalo and Rob Lowe decided to team up with the CIA to bring me down, man. Rob Lowe, friend of the show. Mark Ruffalo, enemy of the show. What was I doing? Oh yeah, The Outsiders. So really the ending is just this poor boy gets tired of living and decides to go and take a bunch of hot loads to the face from a group of guys. And his friends run up on him and watch it happen to him. It's a whole sad ordeal, but just like that woman in Minneapolis, he just takes loads to the face until he's done. So sad. So sad. And then Ponyboy goes and writes about it in his journal, which he will turn in to his English teacher, another English teacher, the following week. You lose your best friend. You lose you lose two of your best friends, your lovers. One of your brothers hate you, but at least you got a good essay. The movie was so fucking gay. That movie was so gay that Mark Ruffalo could have been in it. Fags. That's what I say. That's what I say. But you know what? Stay golden, everybody. Stay golden, Rob Lowe. Stay golden, Patrick Swayze. Stay golden, Mark Ruffalo even. I wish everybody the best. I wish them all well. You know what? Stay golden, Becca. Stay golden, teen Christian, whatever his name is, Christian, who's sentenced 35 years. Stay golden. To that transient woman, stay golden. To that music director who molested the 16-year-old girl, stay golden. Just remember, kids, no one else can do it for you. You gotta smile for you. So you know what? In honor of Pony Boy, stay golden, everybody. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week.